So, I want you to sit with a thought experiment for a minute. It might feel, a little uncomfortable at first, but bear with me.
Well, I'm ready. Let's hear it.
Okay, so imagine that starting today, absolutely nobody could see your progress, like zero visibility. No one knows how many days you've been trying to break that bad habit or how hard you've been working to build a new one.
Right. No audience at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is no one there to applaud you. No one is tracking your milestones.
Hmm.
No apps on your phone dinging, no gold stars. Under those conditions of total invisibility, would your daily behavior still show that you are actively growing?
Man, that is a staggering question to start with.
Right.
It really is. And it strips away, so much of the noise around human motivation. Because when we look at this from a purely biological and systemic level, the human body has no concept of applause.
Yeah, your biology doesn't care about gold stars.
Exactly. Your liver doesn't suddenly initiate a healing cascade because someone congratulated you on making it through the weekend without a drink. Your kidneys don't, flush out toxins faster because a friend noticed you hit a 30-day streak.
Wow. Yeah, that reality check is basically the entire mission of our deep dive today.
It's such a crucial topic.
It really is. We are pulling from a really compelling transcript today from a show called Absolutely Focused Radio. We're looking specifically at Season 5, Episode 2. It's titled Redefining Success in Sobriety.
It's a great piece of source material.
Oh, it's fantastic. And the goal of this deep dive is to fundamentally challenge how you, the listener, measure progress. We're going to explore how to shift your focus away from, the societal obsession with tracking streaks and counting days.
Right, getting away from the numbers.
Exactly. And instead, we're going to talk about completely upgrading your internal operating system, which, frankly, is a huge mental shift.
It is a necessary pivot, though, especially considering how heavily gamified our modern lives have become.
Oh, we gamify literally everything. Like,
Yeah.
we want a streak for our language apps, our workouts, our meditation minutes. We just want the counter to go up, whatever the behavior
Feels
is.
good to see the number go up. It's dopamine.
Totally. But if we strip away the gamification and we accept that external applause and day counting don't actually physically heal the body, what is the engine that drives real sustainable growth?
Well, the engine is the human biological system, doing what it is designed to do. It's healing quietly, cell by cell, system by system, right there in the background.
It's all happening behind the scenes.
Exactly. And the core theme we are exploring today from the source material is that recovery, whether we were talking about sobriety or breaking any, deeply ingrained toxic habit, is rarely about simply flipping a switch to stop a behavior.
Right.
It is about initiating a comprehensive system upgrade.
Okay, let's unpack this concept of the system upgrade, because I have to admit, I'm a little skeptical of throwing out the concept of a streak entirely.
Sure, that's a common reaction.
I mean, if counting days is a flawed metric for success, how else are we supposed to anchor ourselves? Isn't a streak inherently motivating?
It can be, sure.
Right. Like, if I'm a newcomer trying to get my life together, why shouldn't I cling to my 30, 60, or 365 days of being free from a toxic habit? I worked hard for those days.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, let's look at the difference between the mere passage of time and actual internal growth.
Okay, I'm listening.
The source material offers a really powerful analogy here involving your smartphone. So think about how a phone operates. You can leave that device powered on for weeks at a time,
Yeah.
right?
Of course.
The battery is running, the clock is ticking forward, time is objectively passing. But if you continually hit remind me later on the software update,
Oh, I'm so guilty of that.
we all are.
Huh?
But if you never connect it to Wi-Fi to actually download the new code, the phone is still running the exact same old buggy operating
Oh,
system.
wow. Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Right. It might be powered on for 100 consecutive days, meaning you have a 100-day streak, but it hasn't actually improved.
So, mapping that onto human behavior, someone might successfully stop a destructive habit. Let's say they stop drinking publicly, they make the big announcement, and they get the applause. But their underlying thinking, their emotional software, hasn't actually downloaded the new code.
Right. The time is ticking upward on their counter, but the internal system is glitchy.
That is such a good way to phrase it, glitchy software.
Yeah. And the source highlights a very honest, very common scenario in early recovery or really any habit change. Someone might halt the major visible behavior, but privately, they might keep a few nips hidden away.
Like just a little bit to take the edge off.
Exactly. They might take a small drink before attending a stressful social event, timing it so the smell fades, but they still get that internal chemical effect to cope with their anxiety.
Right.
And their internal justification is usually something like, well, I kept it under control. I'm good for today.
I want to highlight something crucial from the transcript about that specific behavior, though. Doing that doesn't make someone a bad person or a failure.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It just means they are stuck trying to run a new, demanding phase of their life using outdated software.
Yeah, they're using an old coping mechanism because they just haven't installed a new one yet.
Precisely. This is why time alone doesn't equal growth. The fundamental question you have to ask yourself isn't, how long have I been doing this?
Yeah.
Or, how many days have I been sober?
Right.
The more vital question is, what kind of person am I becoming?
I see the distinction there. I really do. But I'll push back again.
Go for it.
Waiting for an invisible, software update of the mind can feel incredibly frustrating. Like I can look at a calendar and see 30 red X's. That's tangible.
It is tangible, yes.
But I can't exactly look in the mirror on a Tuesday morning and visibly see my emotional regulation improving. If I can't see the software updating, I'm going to lose motivation. So is there anything physically tangible happening in my hardware, like my physical body, when I drop a toxic habit that I can mentally anchor to?
That is a great question. Let's transition to the physical hardware because the biological reality of dropping a toxic habit is just astonishing.
I love the biology side of this.
It's fascinating. This is where we encounter the concept of quiet healing.
Uh-huh.
Biologically speaking, habit change truly triggers a systemic overhaul, primarily involving three major organs outlined in the source.
Okay, what are the three?
The liver, which is responsible for processing toxins, the brain, which regulates our decision-making and reward pathways, and the kidneys, which are tasked with balancing fluids and electrolytes.
So when someone is heavily engaged in a toxic habit like chronic alcohol use, all of those systems are essentially redlining, right? Like they are operating under massive continuous stress.
Oh, they are completely overwhelmed. But the very moment that heavy toxin stops entering the system, the body initiates a profound repair protocol.
Really? Like right away.
Almost immediately. Let's look at the liver. The liver actually begins to regenerate damaged tissue.
Mhm.
In the brain, the chemical imbalances start to stabilize. Across the entire body, systemic inflammation, which is often a major driver of disease and discomfort, begins to drop.
That's incredible.
But the catch here is the word quiet. This monumental cellular repair rarely announces itself to your conscious mind.
Right. You don't get a little pop-up alert.
Exactly. You don't wake up and get a push notification on your wrist that says, congratulations, liver tissue successfully regenerated by an additional 2% while you slept.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. The physical body actually begins its healing process long before the conscious mind actually believes any healing is taking place.
Yes, exactly that.
Like, your cells are in there doing all this heavy lifting, actively rebuilding the architecture of your organs. But meanwhile, your conscious brain is still pacing the floor, full of anxiety, feeling like this new lifestyle isn't working at all.
And that happens because human biology does not require your psychological belief or external validation to repair damaged tissue.
Wow.
It doesn't need a certificate of achievement. It just needs you to remove the toxic interference so it can get to work. The source uses a brilliant analogy here, comparing the liver to a municipal water filtration system.
Oh, I remember this. Think of a massive water treatment plant for a whole city. Every single day, its singular job is to pull impurities out of the water supply so the city can function.
Right, that's its only job.
And when alcohol, or really any heavy systemic toxin, floods the body on a regular basis, that filtration plant is forced into overdrive, the filters get gunked up, the machinery starts breaking down.
And the whole system becomes sluggish and inefficient.
Exactly.
But when you finally stop introducing the toxin, the maintenance crew essentially gets to work. The liver slowly restores its own capacity. The damaged cells regenerate, the localized inflammation goes down, and the entire filtration system stabilizes.
And it does all of that just by being consistent.
Yes, it achieves this through pure, uninterrupted consistency.
But the tension there is immense, because if our physical bodies, the liver, the kidneys, are successfully doing all this incredible quiet healing in the background, why does our brain still scream for the old habits?
That's the million-dollar question.
I mean, if the hardware is successfully fixing itself, why is the software still demanding the very thing that was destroying the machine in the first place?
To understand that tension, we have to examine the brain's dopamine reward system. And this brings us face to face with some deeply ingrained biological traps.
Okay, lay it on me.
The source points out that even tiny amounts of a substance, like those hidden nips we discussed earlier, or even engaging in a slightly modified version of a bad habit, forcefully reinforce the old neural pathways.
Ah, so it's keeping the loop alive.
Exactly. Dopamine isn't just about feeling pleasure. It's fundamentally a learning signal. It physically marks a behavior as essential for your survival.
Let me try a different way of visualizing this. It's like water carving a canyon, right?
Oh, well, I like that. Go on.
At first, an old habit is just a trickle of water over the dirt. But if you flood that same route with a rush of dopamine every single time you feel stressed or overwhelmed, eventually you've carved out the Grand Canyon.
That is a great visual.
And once that massive trench is there, your thoughts and cravings naturally want to fall right into the path of least resistance.
That is a much more accurate way to look at it than just calling it a, bad choice.
Yeah.
Some people have what researchers in the source describe as highly sensitive, addictive behavioral tendencies.
Meaning their brains react differently.
Yes, their dopamine reward systems naturally respond with much greater intensity to certain stimuli. It is absolutely crucial to reframe how we view this. Having a highly sensitive reward system is not a moral failing or a sign of weakness.
Right, it's just biology.
It is a biological reality. It is a feature of your specific neurological hardware.
But because that specific hardware is so reactive, it makes people incredibly susceptible to the deserving it trap.
Oh, the deserving it trap is so dangerous.
And it's so universally relatable, too. Like, you have a brutal day, the stress is compounding, your boss was completely unreasonable, traffic was a nightmare, and you finally walk through your front door.
We've all been there.
And your brain, craving that dopamine learning signal to alleviate the stress, whispers, "You earned this."
Yep.
You use the old toxic habit as a stress relief valve, convincing yourself it's a necessary reward.
And the source highlights the dark irony of that exact moment. You genuinely believe you are avoiding your problems, or that you are finally securing a fleeting moment of relief.
Oh, you're really not.
No, you're not. In reality, the vital infrastructure of your life, your meaningful relationships, the trust your family places in you, your own internal peace of mind, is slowly falling apart while you self-medicate.
Wow. You think you're getting stress relief, but you are actually just postponing the necessary repair work. It's like taking out a payday loan with a massive interest rate on your future peace of mind just to feel numb for the next hour.
That's exactly what it is, a biological payday loan.
So, if we know the canyon is deep, and we know the dopamine trap is waiting, how do we regulate our emotions without hitting that false dopamine button?
And this raises an important question, maybe the most important question of the material. And it represents the pivot point from simply stopping a bad behavior to actively constructing a new life.
Okay, I'm ready for the solution.
Because your reward system is so highly sensitive, you cannot just rip out the old habit and leave a massive void in its place. The stress won't magically disappear.
Right, the boss is still annoying, the traffic is still bad.
Exactly. You have to actively engineer new neurological pathways. You have to dig a new riverbed. And you accomplish that by replacing the toxic habit with deliberate structure, daily routines, external accountability, and healthy emotional regulation techniques.
Wait, I have to stop you there.
Sure. That sounds completely exhausting.
Yeah.
You're telling me I've had a highly stressful day, my dopamine system is screaming for immediate relief, and my new reward is supposed to be accountability and structure.
Well, when you put it like that.
I mean, that doesn't sound like relief at all. That sounds like a second job.
Yeah.
How is a newcomer supposed to survive that gap between wanting immediate relief and having to do the hard work of emotional regulation?
It is exhausting at first, which is why the source emphasizes starting incredibly small. If you try to overhaul your entire personality in a weekend, you will fail, and you will fall right back into the Grand Canyon of your old habits.
No, so baby steps.
Exactly. The goal for a newcomer isn't to become a master of Zen overnight. The goal is to focus on systems over streaks. The source provides a very practical framework for this. If success is fundamentally about building systems, then your only job during week 1 is to pick just one single small daily behavior that actively proves you are growing.
So what does this all mean? Just one small behavior. What does that actually look like in the real world when the stress hits? What's fascinating here is how simple the source makes it. They list several concrete examples of how to replace toxic stress relief with a healthier daily routine.
Like what?
It might be deciding that, for this week, whenever someone upsets you, your new behavior is to consciously pause and take one deep breath before reacting.
Oh, wow. So instead of immediately snapping back or letting the anger escalate, you force a 3-second gap.
Yes, just a
Rounded.
pause.
Oh,
Or it could be the physical act of taking a walk around the block the moment you feel your stress rising, rather than reaching for a drink or a substance to numb it.
just removing yourself from the environment.
Right. It might be committing to having one entirely honest conversation this week instead of hiding your feelings to avoid conflict. Or it could be as simple as actively choosing patience in a specific moment where your default reaction would normally be to lose your temper.
Hold on, I just realized something hearing you lay that out.
What's that?
The reason that first week feels so terrible isn't because the listener is failing. It's because their physical hardware is actively under construction and the software is throwing error codes.
Yes.
The discomfort they feel when they take a walk instead of taking a drink, that discomfort actually is the healing.
That is the exact mechanism of change. By forcing yourself to take the walk, you are refusing to send water down the old canyon. You are slowly carving a new path.
Man, it means this system upgrade is wildly accessible. You don't have to tackle your entire life's baggage on a Tuesday.
Nope, just one thing.
You just have to choose to take a walk instead of taking a drink. You just have to choose a moment of patience instead of a moment of explosive anger. And that single, isolated behavioral change becomes your new metric for progress. It completely usurps the old mindset of just putting an X on a calendar to maintain a sobriety streak.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it brings us full circle to the very beginning of our discussion. Think back to your thought experiment at the start.
Right, if nobody could see your progress.
Exactly. If nobody could see your progress, what behavior would still show you are growing? By focusing your energy on just one small, healthy behavioral change, you are actively writing the new code for your internal software update.
You're doing the work for you.
You are proving to yourself, and only to yourself, that you are growing, even when there is no audience, no applause, and no one tracking your streak.
That is such an empowering, grounded way to approach self-improvement. You are the sole developer of your new operating system.
I love that phrasing.
So let's recap this journey we've taken through the source material today. We started by dismantling the illusion of the streak, the idea that time passing equates to growth.
Which is a huge mental hurdle.
Huge. Then we looked under the hood at the biology of quiet healing, exploring how the liver actively regenerates and the brain stabilizes long before we consciously feel better.
The body is amazing.
It really is. And we ended with the practical reality of installing a brand new operating system through tiny, deliberate, daily acts of emotional regulation.
It represents a complete paradigm shift. You are moving away from the defensive posture of, how long have I avoided this bad thing, and moving toward the proactive posture of, what healthy systems am I actively building?
And to help you start building that system right now, we want to share a specific resource mentioned in the source material. It's pulled from their Episode 2 toolkit.
This is a really handy tool.
It's an AI prompt designed to help you pinpoint exactly where to begin. You can plug this directly into ChatGPT or whichever AI assistant you prefer to help you figure out your next immediate step. Here's the exact prompt. Based on the idea that sobriety is about building systems and not just counting days, help me identify one habit or behavior that would show real growth in my life right now.
I highly recommend engaging with that prompt. Let it guide your reflection. Often we are just too close to the chaos of our own lives to clearly see the obvious small step we need to take to begin carving that new riverbed.
Absolutely. Take that prompt, plug it in, and discover what system upgrade is waiting to be installed in your life.
As we close out this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final direct challenge pulled straight from the source material. I want you to mull this over long after you finish listening.
Leave them with something to think about.
Exactly. Take a hard look at your current routines and ask yourself this. What are you avoiding right now? And if you remove that one habit, what part of your life might start improving?